Y'all see me? All right. As I always say, I won't be before you that long. What's up, everybody? I am Steph Jackson, athlete freedom agent and wide receiver trainer. Tonight, as you see, we are talking about the name, image, and likeness rule. Um, and we just want to unlock it. It's so much out there, just craziness that you're hearing. Take it from me. I'm about to tell you the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Okay. So I am also a lawyer. I'm also an attorney, barred in the state of New York. I want to say the great state of New York. They're just doing so much trash stuff up there. Anyway, but I'm an attorney, and so one of the first things I did when I heard about the NIL and all that madness that was happening, was I went through each state and looked at the laws. So I had to do my research on all 50 states plus the US territories. Okay, guys. Um, what does the name, image, and likeness rule mean? First of all, for those of you who don't know, the name, image, and likeness rule is called the NIL. Okay, NIL. And what that means is that now athletes, collegiate athletes, um, can get paid, can make money off of their name, their image, their likeness, and in some states they say the voice, the athletic reputation, that sort of thing. What that means is that now you can get cashed out, okay, if you're a collegiate athlete, and high school athletes too, and junior college athletes as well. Okay, so some states have the same exact laws for JUCO and just the 4-year colleges, and some states kind of separate them, but it's all the same. Go get your money. All right. So tonight we're gonna talk about the state's laws, how I feel about it, and how you guys um, can benefit. You know what I'm saying? The first thing I will tell you is stop looking at all the crazy news stories of this athlete getting that athlete getting that, yada yada yada. Those are very few and far in between. What I will say is that for those athletes that are striking these $1 million, $2 million deals, um, which is very not even 1% of the athletes, probably only a handful. I've only heard of, I'm not gonna give a number, but it may be less than 10 athletes, probably only five, I don't know, that's striking $1 million deals. Okay. One famous one was, I think, uh Master P's son. I think it was a $2 million deal with a tech company, something like that. Got Deion Sanders' son signed with Tom Brady, and then the first athlete to get sponsored by Gatorade. And so what you have in those instances, or the Travis Hunter kid, the top recruit, getting like $1 million signing deal from like Barstool. So what you have is these kids are already linked to individuals who are already, one, famous, two, super wealthy, three, well connected. Okay. That is less than 1% of the college athlete. Okay. So don't take that little bit and say, this is what I should be getting. In all actuality, a lot of athletes are just getting a few $100 here, a few $100 there, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Um, but what I will tell you to do is right now, if you hadn't already been doing it, is to grow your social media following. It doesn't matter. Okay, how can I put this? I'll just say it. It does not matter how good you are on the field for the name, image, and likeness, because by law you cannot make money off of your athletic performance. You can only make money off of your what name, image, and likeness, off of your marketability. So to differentiate you from the pros, the professional athletes get paid off of not just their name, image, and likeness, but their athletic ability. Like teams actually pay them. They get bonuses by making like all-star teams or winning Super Bowls and stuff like that, and leading the league in certain categories and things like that. And so they literally get paid off of their athletic abilities. So to differentiate, well, I'm not getting that word right. To differentiate you amateur athlete from the professional athletes, you can only get paid off of your the marketability of your name, image, and likeness. So what does this mean? This means that you need to be hitting up every free marketing tool you can, meaning TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, places like that. Y'all need to be hitting them up hard. I mean, don't tell me you don't like social media. Social media is a bag, guys. Okay. Obviously, your job is to do well in your sport, get your books out, but now you're a business. Okay. So you can add growing my business to that now. Okay. So, yo, let's hop in. All right. So each state has its own little deal. All right. Every state has its own little deal. We're going to quickly run through every state because I'm a nerd. Okay. Um, so let us hop through. All right. The first state, we'll go in alphabetical order, okay? Listen, I looked through the laws. Things do change, like Florida was rushing to try to change legislation after Florida State got beat out by Jackson State for a couple of very top recruits. Um, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, these legislators and lawyers are just crazed sports fans. All right. So they want to change their entire state's laws because they lost to Jackson State. We'll talk about that more when we get to Florida. Okay. State number one, we got Alaska. So Alaska does not have their state has not enacted any NIL law. So from here on out, when I say there is no law, that means that they're going that in those states that haven't enacted a law, you have to actually go to the different schools. They're going by like that, the blanket NCAA provision, that sort of thing. And so the NCAA doesn't have a law in place. They just say, hey, the floodgates are open, follow the state's law. So when states don't have a law, you have to go to individual colleges and universities, and they'll have their own little NIL protocols, that sort of thing. So Alaska, nope, no law. Alabama, though, y'all, Alabama trying to pull one over. So here's the thing with Alabama. Alabama has enacted the Alabama Collegiate Athletics Association. What does this mean? It means that instead of the NCAA being over you, we've created our own little NCAA. Alabama has their own NCAA, the Alabama Collegiate Athletic Association. Okay. For those of you that don't know, the NCAA stands for the National Collegiate Athletic Association. So Alabama went ahead and enacted their own NCAA. And what that means is that they create the NIL rules and they govern the NIL rules. All right. This does not go for Alabama JUCOs, though. Okay. They don't go for Alabama's junior colleges. So um, Alabama allows schools to prohibit you from entering contracts with any person or entity that will negatively or impact or adversely affect the school or the team's public reputation. That gives them a lot of wiggle room to tell you who you cannot be in contract with. Okay. What if they decide that they don't want you in contract with, um, I don't know, Gatorade, because Gatorade said that their favorite school was LSU? I don't know. Maybe they'll say that'll negatively impact us. Who knows? Um, Alabama also allows schools to prohibit student athletes from wearing any branded item with school uniforms or athletic gear or while competing in any athletic competition or a school sponsored event. So this means that if you have an Adidas shoe deal and the school is sponsored by Nike, which I know University of Alabama is, but I don't know about the other ones. But let's say the school is sponsored by Nike, you cannot wear those Adidas in game. Okay, so that's another restriction. Also, before you go even execute an NIL contract, before you can even get paid on this contract, you first have to disclose it to your school in a manner that the school says you have to disclose to. So disclosure must happen. And when I say disclosure, I mean you got to tell the school that, hey, I got this contract. This is how much, yada yada yada. Okay, before you can even get paid on the contract. I think that's trash, but they in the name of protecting the athlete, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Um, but in the name of protecting the athlete, I get it. But there are also, it's also room for abuse there. So that's another restriction. If you get an agent, the agent must be registered in Alabama or must be a member of the Alabama State Bar Association, meaning it must be an Alabama lawyer or an agent registered with Alabama. You also have to give your school a 7-day written notice before entering any contract for any representation with any lawyer or agent. Okay, you can and cannot the school can't revoke or reduce your Scholarly Award as a result of you receiving compensation. Okay, also you gotta go through like and this is like 90% of the school states, you have to go through financial literacy and life skill program. Okay. Also there's a matter of using the school's logo. You have to get permission from the school to use the logo or any intellectual property, meaning anything that's the name, the jerseys, the colors, the logos, that sort of thing. Anything the school owns, you got to get permission because, like I said, you are a business and your business wants to use the school's logo. Okay, so that's how they gonna handle it. Like it's two businesses, that sort of thing. Um, what else we got in Alabama? Individual who violates causes a student athlete. Yeah, there are also like legal ramifications in their law. Basically, it's a felony if you violate certain provisions of the Alabama law, and not for you, but for like professionals that help you or something like that. It's a Class C felony. So they hold professionals to a very high standard to protect you. Then there's like a whistleblower provisions. And for those of you don't know, whistleblower mean snitch. It is what it is. They protecting the snitches. So I guess snitches don't get stitches in Alabama. So that is Alabama. So Arkansas, Alaska, no law. Alabama, pretty restrictive law. Um, then we have Arkansas, and Arkansas says that your agent must be licensed in Arkansas. That's pretty standard. Also, a student athlete can get out of the contract without penalty if one, the student is no longer enrolled. If you're no longer enrolled in school, if you have no more eligibility, meaning like you just can't play no more, or if you're no longer participating in sports in that school. So if you say I'm hanging up my cleats, I'm done, then you out the deal. You done. Um, then you must tell the school whenever you get into a relationship, a contractual relationship, meaning when you sign a contract with the agent, you have to tell the school. Okay. Um, they also cover you for financial losses. So if an agent causes you to lose money, cause you to get suspended from school because of something they did, suspended from the team, disqualified from play, then you can sue them, basically. Okay. That's Arkansas in a nutshell. Then there is Arizona. So for Arizona, Arizona is actually pretty sweet. Okay. For my people, for my athletes who like, yo, I'm gonna get that bag. And Arizona's recruiting you for the sake of NIL. Hello, Arizona. So Arizona is very short and sweet. You don't really have to disclose anything to the schools. It's very liberal and it provides the student athlete to adhere to the national rules, i.e., the NCAA rules, the National Junior College rules. If you're in the NAIA, the NAIA rules. The only issue here is that there are no like national governing body. The national governing bodies have not made any uniform rules. So it also does not provide a list of prohibited products or industries. but it does prohibit a student athlete from entering contracts that will violate the intellectual property of anybody, including the school. A lot of these provisions have conflicting with the team contract, because when you go to, you know what I'm saying, when you sign on with the college team, there's a contract for certain behaviors, certain things that you're going to be expected to do, that sort of thing. If you're in college and playing collegiate sports, you have signed that contract. Believe it or not, even when you sign it, it may have been it may have been a part of the scholarship or letter that you signed, but you signed that contract. You said okay to the contract, or you wouldn't be on that team. Okay. So Arizona is super short and sweet. Arizona basically like, go get that money. Okay. Go get that money. All right. So let's move on to Cali, sunny Cali. So California was the first one to rush to have an NIL deal in place. Um California kind of shot themselves in the foot, even though they did. You know, California, they just so Hollywood about everything. Okay. The governor gets on the shop with LeBron James signing this law into place, but the law really did nothing for them. And then they said that they wouldn't enact the law until 2023. And then they had to have an emergency provision to enact the law now, because all the other states went 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 green July 1st, 2021. Most of the other states did. So California's like, yo, we gotta do something. So what did they do? They had to rush and get it and make the law active for like September 2021. So anyway, so California created this working group for their community colleges to make NIL laws for them. Um, you have to disclose a contract to the school for California. The team contract cannot prevent a student athlete from using his or her NIL for commercial purposes when not engaged in official team activities. So you'll start seeing that provision a lot, and so and official team activities means things like practices. I guess team sponsored events, games for sure, always games, stuff like that. It does not contain language prohibiting student athletes from entering into contracts. Um, from entering into contracts, um, like prohibited areas, like you can't enter into contracts to sell sex or drugs or for tobacco products or pharmaceutical products or gambling, that sort of thing. Um, so but California is just based like they didn't really. It's short and sweet. They didn't do a whole lot, guys. Like they just didn't. They didn't do a whole lot. So I think California was just a lazy law, and they was just really trying to get something done. That's just me. Take a look for yourself. You can Google it, but you will find what I told you will find. Next up, we got Colorado. I'm not finna go through all 50. Y'all, I'm probably gonna tackle these like 10 at a time. So we got Alaska, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California. We'll do five more and then we'll call it a night or a day whenever you looking at this. Colorado has let me see. Do I have all these on a spreadsheet? Yes, I do, because I literally read all the laws. So Colorado said, I mean, yeah, Colorado says you must disclose your NIL contracts within 72 hours after entering contract or before your next athletic event, whichever comes first. So let's say you're playing college football and you know your games are on Saturdays and you entered an NIL contract for chewing gum on Monday. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you have to disclose that before Thursday. Okay. So you got a 72-hour clock. Or if you entered into the contract on Friday, you got to tell them Friday, right? Because you got a game on Saturday. You get it? It's either 72 hours or before the next game, whichever comes first. So they want to know ASAP, basically. All right. Also, a provision that conflicts with a team contract. Um, the team has to disclose that conflicting provision to your lawyer or your agent. Okay, and then you have to go back and fix it. Basically, you can't enter any contract that conflicts with the team contract. All right, guys, you got to know this because you have to think like a business because now you are a business and your school has to worry about their business. Okay. Um, it also renders any policy by a school or athletic association that violates their statute void and enforceable. So they protect your rights. All right. So the school or athletic, the NCAA, none of them can infringe on your legal rights. It also allows for on campus athlete agent interviews. It is the only state that does that. And that's just another protection provision for you. Okay. I guess they figured if they get agents to come on campus and they allow you to interview agents so you don't have to be, going through it by yourself because that can be kind of a scary process, right? Um, so that's Colorado. Number six, we have Connecticut. Connecticut. So Connecticut adds language to include employment activities unrelated to any intercollegiate athletic program. Okay. It provides that every institution of higher ed must adopt NIL policies. So let's back up to this unrelated to any intercollegiate athletic program, meaning if you they allow you to make money like if you start your own business that has nothing to do with the sport you're playing. That's what they're saying. Right. So you have a right to if you wanted to, what I'm saying, start a if you want to if you wanted to start like your own, I don't know, give me a business, your own cooking business, right? Culinary art business, whatever. If you want to start your own like restaurant business or whatever, you can do that. They just allow you to, they say, hey, you can make money outside of athletics. Okay. Because some schools will be very petty before NCAA would be super petty before this law was even enacted. And if you were an athlete, period, any kind of money you was making, it's like they were trying to stop you from making any kind of money, even outside of your using your name and image and likeness. It's just nuts. All right. So Connecticut says, yo, whether it has anything to do with athletics or not, go get that money. Okay. Um, it also says that every school has to adopt the NIL policy, requiring disclosure of all student athlete contracts for endorsement, employment, and representation. Really, right? Okay. Also prohibiting student athletes from entering into contracts that conflict with any contract the institution of higher ed is a party to. Also, the school has to adopt policies prohibiting student athletes from using or consenting to the use of the institutional's marks, meaning their logos and stuff, while performing contracts. So if you're in a commercial, you can't unless um you can't contract to use your game jersey because it has the school's logo on it. Yeah, it got your name on the back too, and I do have an issue with that. I think every student athlete should get royalties from the sale of their jersey or use of their name. I really do. Um, but you can't use it in like a commercial without the school's okay, right? You can't pre-contract and say, "Hey, I'm gonna bring my game jersey and we can make a commercial." Nah, 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 no, 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 no. Sorry. Um, what else in this good Connecticut policy? You can't go into an NIL contract that will interfere with your team activities or your academic obligations. Meaning, NIL comes third. Your school, your academic obligations, your team activities, and then your business. That's what they're saying. Okay. Um, Also, they have to identify, like I told you before, they got to identify different the prohibited endorsements, like we said before, drugs, gambling, sex, big pharmaceutical, tobacco, things like that, vaping. So those are just some kind of blanket prohibited categories. Um, Non-disclosure, they now Connecticut is the first state I saw with a non-disclosure clause, meaning that it prohibits any school from disclosing any record or compensation received by a student athlete without written consent from the student athlete. So basically, they can't tell your business without you giving them the green light. Okay, that's taken very seriously in the business world. These things are confidential. All right. Um, but they also have a provision that says that you can be punished if you fail to adhere to any of your school's NIL policies. You can be prohibited from participating in you can be prohibited from participating in sports in the school, period. You can have your scholarship eligibility revoked. You can suffer any other punitive or legal actions at the hands of the school or the NCAA. All right. So Connecticut ain't playing. If you violate these rules, they letting you know off top. We can take your scholarship. We can make you stop playing sports. We can take any other action legally or punitive. Punitive just means like a punishment outside of taking you to court, like taking your scholarship, taking your eligibility, or legal actions. They can take any of those actions against you if you fail to adhere to your school's NIL policies. So yes, Connecticut is strict if you just follow the rules. That's all I can say. Follow the rules. All right. All right, we got DC. DC does not have any NIL laws. Delaware does not have any NIL laws. And then Florida. Oh, Florida is funny. Florida just has very cut and dry provisions. Um, you got to have the financial literacy and life skills. You have to disclose your contract per contract to your college university. Just very cut and dry. The kind of Florida, you'll see Florida and Louisiana have like the same identical provisions, but like I said before, these are subject to change in the wake of Florida State losing a couple of top recruits to Jackson State. A new bill has been filed to allow Florida states to present players with NIL deals. All right, so that's a big no right now. It is illegal for a school to set up NIL deals to get recruits. What is Florida saying? Florida is calling BS on Jackson State. Florida is accusing Jackson State um, and Deion Sanders specifically for setting up Travis Hunter's $1 million deal with Barstool. Okay. I don't know if it's true or not, but Florida is not convinced that it's not true. They're very convinced that it's true. Okay. So Florida is saying, let's take the top off this thing and just let us set up deals with recruits that we want. That is such a cheat code. And if they allowed every school to do that, which is probably going to come into that, it's going to be crazy. But I tell you what, you win, student athlete, you win. Haha. All right. The last one we'll go over is Georgia. Georgia is sucks. It's one of the most restrictive states. Um, Georgia, Texas, steer clear if you can. I know they have really amazing football programs there. Um, but you can be great anywhere. If you try and go get this money, okay. Okay, let's just go over Georgia. All right. So this when I say disclosure, it means telling the school that you going into contract. Disclosure is on the school's terms. Okay, that's normal. The team contract cannot prevent you from like every other state says, the team contract can prevent you from using your name, image, and likeness for commercial purposes when you're not engaged in official school activities. Okay. Now, this is where Georgia just sucks it right on up. Like they have what they call a pooling arrangement. Okay. And under this pooling arrangement, The student who received compensation for the use of their name, image, and likeness agrees to contribute a portion of their compensation to a fund for the benefit of student athletes who were previously enrolled at their school. This pooling must adhere to the following rules. Okay. One, student athletes must not be required to contribute 75% or more of their compensation. Two, there must be an escrow account. Three, all student athlete contributions deposited into account by the athletic director or designee. Four, upon graduation or withdrawal of at least 17 months from the school by a person who was a student athlete of the school prior to the graduation or withdrawal, they are eligible to receive a pro rata share of the pool contributions based on the number of months they were a student athlete at that school. And then five, there's a non-discrimination clause. So let me put this in just flat out terms. Okay. Georgia is saying that Georgia has a pooling arrangement, people. What they saying is that you, student athlete, can be forced to give a certain portion of the money you earn with your name, image, and likeness, and it has to go into an account. Okay, it has to go into account, and in that account is for student athletes who used to be athletes at your school, former student athletes who used to be athletes at your school. Um, and so upon the graduation or withdrawal of that athlete, of if they were an athlete, a student athlete for at least a year at that school, they can receive a percentage out of that account. What this is the issue with what a lot of people have with like welfare and stuff. Okay. No, I'm not getting political. I don't care about the Republicans or the Democrats. But that's what this system is. It's essentially a welfare system for athletes who could not earn what you're earning. All right. I don't think it's fair because it's my name, it's my image, it's my likeness. I earned it. Why do I have to give a percentage to some other athlete who couldn't? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? No, that's not cool. Um, it's trash. It's very trash. But the good thing about this law is that Georgia's law is that it will likely expire June the 30th. It's set to expire June 30th, 2025. So they're gonna give it like a well, now it's 2022, but they're gonna give it a 4-year test run. They can run that law right on out of town because that's stupid. Like, Georgia, what is wrong with you? I no. You also, like I said, you have to take a financial literacy workshop. Georgia says it has to be at least 5 hours at the beginning of your first and third academic years. So, in allowing you to make money, what you'll start seeing is that these schools want to make sure that you're being responsible with the money. And so that's why they have set in place these financial literacy and life skill workshops. Also, you'll see language like time management and stuff like that. Because although you are a student and you are an athlete, you are also a business. Okay. I keep saying it and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep hitting it home because you're not normal. You're a business now. So we went over Alaska, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, DC, Delaware, Florida, and Georgia. That was 11. Y'all, counting is not I mean, I said 10. That's fine. 11 is fine. So we will stop here at Georgia. I really hope that this helped somebody out there if you wondering what is going on in the NIL world. Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do a 5-part series. I was not planning on doing a 5-part series, but let's just do a 5-part series, guys. All right. So that is the NIL Unlocked Part 1. If this helped you, if this shed some light for you, then help your girl out. You feel me? I'm trying to get all the truth out I can to my athletes. Like this video, subscribe, Share it with another athlete that's in the midst of recruitment, trying to see where they're gonna go. They need to know what it means for their business. All right. And also subscribe to my channel. Okay. Especially my wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Um, wide what will you say? Wide pride, you know what I'm saying? Um, but yo, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Click that button down there. Subscribe. It won't hurt. It will only help. But yo, I'm all about giving you free game, you know what I'm saying, helping you on and off the field. For my wide receivers, you know what I'm saying? I got you. I got y'all. Okay. I'm gonna be posting more and more training videos. Be on the lookout for them. Um, yo, that's all I got. That's it. That's it. You have a good day, good night, wherever you are, whatever time you're watching this video. Okay. I love you to life. God bless. Peace.